Welcome to the Business Spotlight. My name is Kay Cote, and I'm your host for today's episode. And today on the show, I have Judy Deluca, CEO of Fireman's Federal Credit Union, as my guest. We're going to be learning about her business, her journey to business ownership, best practices, and challenges that she has faced to give you that inside look to what it's like to build and operate a business. Hi, Judy. So great to meet you. Thanks for being on the show today.
Oh, hi. You're welcome. It's great to be here.
Wonderful. Well, before we dive into all things business, feel free to share a bit about yourself.
Sure. I'm Judy DeLuca. I am the CEO of Fireman's Federal Credit Union. We serve members in the greater New Orleans area, everyone from first responders, medical personnel, health workers, educators, and also we serve a lot of people in low income communities that have not had access to financial services in the past. So we take pride in being what we call a financial first responder, where we go out into communities and serve people and help them to get financial education as well as fairly priced products and services to assist them in their financial well-being.
Oh, well, this sounds incredible. I'm very excited to dive into all the work that you do. So, how did you get started? Have you always wanted to be entrepreneurial, or is it something that found you? What's the backstory?
So I don't think anybody ever gets out of high school or says, I want to grow up and work in a credit union, but it is a fantastic field to work in. I actually grew up, graduated high school in New Orleans and got married, started a family, and went to work part time in a credit union, not even really knowing what a credit union was. And 2 years later, I was widowed. I had a small child. And working at the credit union had shown me what a credit union can do for its members. And through that, I was able, as a single woman, which back in the late 70s, early 80s, it was hard to get credit in your name. It was hard to um, be able to flourish in a male dominated financial institution kind of society. And so I was actually the first woman that ever came to work at the Fireman's Federal Credit Union. Before that, it had always been retired firefighters. And at that time, there were no females on the New Orleans Fire Department. So right place at the right time. Working, got to go work at the credit union, and really grew up in the credit union or with the credit union, I say. And I've been with the credit union longer than I've had some of my children. So it's one of my children, I say. We grew up together. And at one point in time, I've done every single job in the credit union. Started at the bottom, worked my way up and to be the CEO today. And currently we have 11 branches and about $240 million of assets, and over 28,000 members. So it's been quite a growth journey, personally and with the credit union.
Wow, that's an incredible story. And just like hearing how you overcame, so many adversities, especially just with like life and then being in a male dominated field and now to be the CEO. What an inspiring story. And so I want to learn a little bit more about the company. So how many currently employees do you have?
So we have about 100 employees. It varies from 95 to 105, but right now about 100 employees. And we are a very well, of course, I think so, but we've been voted as a great place to work year after year. We're truly committed to being the place where it's a family for our employees. They are comfortable. They understand that they have a voice. That we want to hear what they say. And if we keep our employees happy, they keep our members happy. They give that same devotion to taking care of our members that we do to take care of our employees. And it's more than a paycheck. I mean, I know you have to make a living wage. That's not negotiable. But above and beyond that, if you feel like you have a voice and you understand that your employer really cares about your well-being and that of your family, then you're going to have a great team. So we don't have a lot of turnover. We have very low turnover at our credit union, and it's because of the great team we have working there.
I love to hear that too. And currently, what's your leadership structure look like? Do you have like a board of directors or leadership, or how does that look like?
So at a credit union, we have a volunteer board of directors. And so I do have nine board members. I also have a community advisory board that is 18 individuals who represent different communities that we serve so that we stay in touch with the communities and know what their needs are. Um, we have a supervisory committee, which is kind of like the watchdog group. They're also volunteers. So a credit union, unlike a typical bank, is a not-for-profit and it's run. Uh, we don't have shareholders. The people who invest their money, they put $10 in the credit union, they become an owner of the credit union. So the credit union, every member is an owner, and so that we really have to be cognizant that we take care of all levels of membership, whether you stable financially, whether you're unstable, whether you want to buy, that super cool car or you're just looking for an electric bike for transportation, whatever it is, we want to be able to reach you where you are and provide the right products and services that will help you gain the financial stability and reach the financial goals you have set for yourself and your family.
Definitely. Looking at, your role within the company, I know you probably wear a lot of hats. So what does your day-to-day look like? Are you more working, say, in the business, like on the day-to-day things, or are you working more on the business, like structures and systems and things like that?
I have a great executive team that allows me to get outside of the business for the most part on a daily basis. I am really lucky that I have the experience and just the background now that I can go assist other credit unions, and that's one of the things I do. Probably about a third of my time I spend working with smaller credit unions that need assistance in different areas, from management to lending to accounting, whatever that is. Um, I also do a lot of community development work with my team, making sure we are out expanding into the communities we serve and that we're representing them fairly. And then, in addition to that, I sit on several boards. One is called the Faith Fund, which is a 501(c)(3), and that provides alternatives to payday loans. It provides first-time homebuyer programs, and it provides reliable transportation to people who would not normally be served in the financial institutions. So um, I'm really lucky to be able to work my passion every day. I have been the CEO well, I've been with the credit union for 45 years, been the CEO since the mid 80s and since 1985. And so 40 years as the CEO. You can't do this job that long if you don't love what you're doing.
100%. That is like a golden nugget for like longevity. I feel like that's
Yes.
incredible. What's your secret? What's your secret to longevity in a workplace?
You have to love what you do and you have to remember and stay committed to the purpose of the institution. And you have to make sure that even though it's probably more comfortable to just keep doing what you do day after day, you have to keep challenging yourself. You have to keep looking for the new things out there that you could do that help others. Technology is racing ahead of us day after day. So, to be able to look and see what's available and kind of pull the team kicking and screaming sometimes, but pull it along saying, okay, we've got to keep up. We've got to keep doing the things that our members need for us to do, both in person, but also through technology, through the phone or computer or how electronically, so that if you don't want to ever come in a branch, you don't have to. But if you want to come in and share some coffee and sit across the desk, you can do that too.
Oh, you brought up one of my favorite words, the word challenge. So I want to dive into something because it's always it's always fun to share stories of like how you're working through things and how every business owner has these challenges. That's part of it. So, what are some of the challenges you're currently faced with? I know technology is like at the top of your list of things that are coming up, but is there any kind of like more details into like challenges you're currently facing?
Sure. Three are at the top of my head. One is regulatory challenges. There's always new regulations coming down the pike, changing regulations. And with the new administration, you have different paths that they want to go. We're a community development financial institution, a CDFI is the acronym, which means that we do a lot of underserved work that I spoke about earlier. But there's lots of regulations there, and we do depend on community development grant funding to assist us to go in and do the financial education people need. So um, that's going to be challenging in the upcoming years because there's a lot of cuts in those areas. They've kind of flip flopped and changed on some of the regulations. Um, the consumer protective side that credit unions are really vocal advocates for making sure that their members are protected. You have so much fraud and abuse of not just the elderly, but everybody. Like, I wish these fraudsters took the time and energy to do something productive versus what they do. I mean, they really have they're very intelligent and they really find lots of ways to convince people to part with their money, and so we battle that every day. So I guess technology, keeping up with that, making sure that the credit union continues to have leadership behind me, making sure that if anything were to happen to me, nothing would miss a step. The credit union would move forward day after day. So we have to be sure we have the right people in place to do that and all with the right hearts, making sure we call it the credit union heart, making sure that they want to do what's best for the members. Because being the CEO, it's not about ego, it's not about power, it's all about responsibility. So you got to remember that you're not there, the title isn't there to make you feel good. The title's there to make sure that you're doing what you need to do, and your staff and team are doing what they need to do.
Oh, definitely. You brought up some big ones, some that I mean, I've heard too, I've had people try to get me with a fraud from like calling saying they're from a bank and they're not. And
Yes.
oh my gosh, I had one last week that it was pretty convincing. And so
Mhm.
I completely get where you're coming from. So what are some of the especially with, I guess we can pick whichever of these three challenges that are currently like what's top of mind to you. What are some of the systems that you want to put into place to kind of like help mitigate some of those challenges?
On the technology side, I have a team that is now looking at technology as it's available and trying to find the platforms that would be best for our members going forward. On the fraud side, we try to educate our members constantly about we're never going to call and ask you for your password. We are never going to call and tell you to go withdraw money at an ATM or go deposit money somewhere to check our employees. We're not going to do that because I had one last week, $10,000. One of our senior citizens went and withdrew money thinking that it was on behalf of the credit union's audit team and go deposit that in this ATM, a Bitcoin ATM,
Mm.
where the money's gone. And on our side, the member took the money out. So I can't, I can't stop the member. We question them and we ask them, but the fraudsters are telling them what to say even when they go in the institution, so that we say, oh, Miss Smith, why do you want $10,000 in cash? That's, you shouldn't walk around with that money. Oh, I need to go purchase a few household things. You can't stop people from
Yeah.
doing it, but it's heartbreaking to listen to the stories of people who really can't afford to lose the money that they have, and
Mm.
they're getting very good, like I said, at parting people from their hard-earned money. And I don't know the answer regulatory wise. It doesn't seem to be high up in the list of what the police or FBI or other people. They've got a lot of other things to look at, so and deal with that are huge. But this fraud continues to get bigger and bigger. And as technology progresses, my hope is that we find ways to shut these people down.
Definitely. It is one of those things. Are you utilizing like any social media or email newsletter, or how are you communicating with your members to kind of just share about the fraud things and, other things that are going on?
So we do share every other week. We share a fraud newsletter telling people about the latest things that have happened. We do it through our mobile banking app as well as through social media and directly through their emails with us. Um, and at the branches, face when you're with them face to face, we are monitoring that, and we also have software that monitors unusual transactions that we can contact the member. Sometimes it's too late, but to contact them and question what's happening with their account. So we try to look at it many different ways to figure out what's how to get the message to people that if it sounds too good to be true, it is. The prince in Africa is really not coming to be your romantic interest, and we're not calling you for your password or asking you to withdraw funds uh, for for the credit union's audit side. We're never ever going to do that, and so it's just getting people to understand that. But those fraudsters are pretty good. They are.
They're getting clever.
Mhm,
And like you said, everybody is targeted. And
mhm.
oh, well, it sounds like you're doing some things in the right direction to help with that, especially talking to your customers, your clients, keeping them aware and informed. So I kind of want to take into the seeing what the future for the company is. So where do you see your company going in the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, we see ourselves expanding. We have recently gotten permission to expand our field of membership. So as a credit union, you have to bring in employee groups, or you have to have a certain section of or a certain area that is low income or underserved. And so we recently were granted 35 parishes in the state of Louisiana that we could expand into. So over the next 3 to 5 years, we see ourselves expanding both electronically and physically into some of those areas. And we have a mobile branch that we always have used for disaster recovery, where if there's a hurricane, the last time it was Hurricane Ida, I believe we were down in Lockport. There was no electricity, but we can run this mobile branch off of generators, and we were able to provide cash where nobody else was open. We were there. You could access your accounts. So we take this mobile branch, and we're going to utilize that in going into these communities more, and also just for community events around the area. But that's one of those decisions we had made to have this for disaster recovery purposes, but it's expanded now into being able to access just regular communities where they don't have mass transportation. So many places in Louisiana don't have bus systems or ways to get around. And so we can go there, meet at a senior center or hospital or different churches. We do utilize a lot of faith-based churches to meet people and understand what it is, what they're looking for, what challenges they have, and then find answers to those challenges in those communities. So that's really, I see a much higher level of expansion for us in the next 3 to 5 years.
That sounds incredible. Well, I'm excited to see that unfold and
Yes.
as everything's developing. And now I want to get into a fun part of our Q&A called our rapid fire questions.
Okay.
And I'll ask you 4 questions where you answer very top of mind.
Okay.
All right. Question number 1 is, what is the key to success for you?
The key to success for me is being real with yourself, treating other people like you want to be treated, and staying committed to your purpose.
Oh, I love those. Those are definitely dear to my heart too. Number 2 is, what is a piece of advice you have for other business owners?
That is to remember that your employees are human beings. They have families, and to treat them again um, with the care and concern you would want your customers or members to be treated with, because that's who faces them every day. And the more you treat them like you want to be treated, they will treat your members like you want to treat them or your customers.
Definitely. Number three is it could be like a book, an article, a podcast, anything that you've taken in most recently.
So most recently, I'm reading a book called The Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes, and really, it's about making sure you say yes to things that stretch your comfort zone, so that you don't miss opportunities as they come to you.
Oh, I dig that. I just wrote that one down. It's like a very abundance mindset, it sounds like.
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. And the fourth question is if you had a magic wand and you could rapidly improve one aspect of your business, what would it be?
I think it would be, geez, that is a tougher one, but I guess if I had to pick one, I would pick that our members' financial education platform was able to reach everyone in the communities that need it so that they would understand that the choices they're making now can affect them for years and years to come.
That's a great one. Again, this has been a great conversation. So let's help you spread the word about what you're doing
Yes.
now. How can people get in touch with you and your business?
Well, www.noffcu.org is our website, but you can email me personally. It's Judy D at noffcu.org, and I would be glad to discuss you with businesses where they can. uh, Having a credit union is a free service to your employees, so it's something where we could come in and help your employees have financial stability so that they are not worried about. I mean, they say 50% of marriages end because of money issues in their marriage. And so the stress that goes on when you have financial issues can affect your workplace. So, a credit union, such as Fireman's Credit Union, we can come in and help your employees and educate them so that they're not stressed out every day. They don't have to worry about paying the rent versus buying groceries. So, that would be something I would love to take it, our other businesses take advantage of credit union membership for their employees.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much, Judy, for sharing your information and sharing with me today for our final question.
Mhm.
What is most inspiring to you today?
Today, I'll go back to the original mentor I worked for. Her name was Audrey Cerise. She had six kids. She was a single mom, and every one of her children um, had a college degree. Every one of her children moved forward with a professional career, had great families, and were all great people. And it showed me that even if you're a single parent, even if you have limitations, as long as you keep your mindset correct and do what you need to do to keep your children on the right path and provide a good education for them, that they're going to be fine. And so for me, that's kind of, I go back to Audrey Cerise was her name, is her name actually. I don't want to say was, is her name, and she's still there, still now retired, but living a great life. And she's the one who put me on this path.
Oh, that's so inspiring. Thank you for sharing that today and for this great conversation, Judy. I think to all of our audience too, take a pass through this a couple of times. There's so many great nuggets of inspiration in here for you and your business. So thanks, Judy, for being on the show.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.